All right. Hey, everybody. Publish, promote, profit here. Rob for our BSPU call. And I want to share with you a couple of things today that I think could be really helpful. If you're interested in earning money from your book even before your book is completed, then it will especially be helpful. And I want to share with you a great strategy that some of our clients have used very successfully. I also want to share with you some warning in that regard because you want to be careful about how you approach this and do it. And then, as always, we'll open it up to any Q&A that you guys have. And I'm happy to answer any of your questions involving any of the things that we discussed today or any other part of the process that you're in. So let's talk today about a simple strategy for making money with your book before it's ever done. And really what this amounts to is selling advertising space in your book. And that doesn't sound all that sexy. And I would never really present it in such a way other than just to be quite blunt with you. But really what we want to do with this type of strategy is we want to give people an opportunity to have one page in our book in what we might call a partner section. And you can make up any name that you want. You can call it an affiliate section, a partner section, etc. But we want to give people an opportunity to have one page in our best-selling book that is going to be downloaded thousands of times just from the launch that we do by itself. And on that one page, not a pure advertisement, but some copy, some explanation as to who this partner is and what this partner does. And then something that gives the partner an opportunity to take someone that's reading it off the page back to their website or some type of offer that they're going to make. Now, that's the kind of overview of the strategy, and I'll break down some of it and also some of the techniques that you can use to really present this in the best way possible so that people really are attracted and want to do this, okay? So first and foremost, as you know, right, you're my authors, you are our BSPU clients, you know how powerful it is to have a book. This book alone, in the first 2 months of 2019, has brought in over 7 figures into bestseller publishing, just in January and February. So is the book powerful? Well, you know it. You also know how difficult it is to actually get your book completed. So more than likely, the potential partners that you're going to be going to are people that have either thought about writing a book or they at least understand the power in having a best-selling book and being featured as a product partner or affiliate of some kind in that book. So these are people that hopefully we won't have to educate too much, but if we have to do some education, that's completely fine. Now, a warning, okay, to begin this. First of all, this is too valuable for you to cheapen in any way. So you need to be careful the people that you potentially, if you're going to do this and use this strategy, I did not, but if you're going to do this and use this strategy, you need to be careful who the partners are that you pick to be a part of your book, okay? You don't just want to pick somebody because they can write you a check for $1,000, $1,500, or $2,000. You want to pick somebody because you really believe in them, because they're complementary to your service, not competitive, right? We don't want to put our competitors in here. We want to put those that complement what we do in here. And so we want to be careful. If you're going to use this strategy, you want to be careful about the people that you have in the book because this is too valuable. As I said, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in revenue directly, specifically as related to my book because of the funnels that we're running, offering the book as part of a free plus shipping funnel, something you've heard me talk about. I wouldn't want to have people that are my partners in this book that I wasn't just 100% on board with and felt completely great about, okay? As I said, I don't have anybody in it anyway, but if I were going to, I'd want to make sure to pick the best partners. So that's number one, and that's a warning. You want to make sure that if you're going to do this, You're going to pick people that are complementary to your business, and you're going to pick people that you really believe in their product, you believe in their service, you believe in what they're offering, and you see this as a benefit to your readers. Okay? So what will you do? Well, I've already shared, you're going to have a section in your book towards the back part of your book, and you can call that section the partner section or affiliate section or something that lets people know that these are people that you believe in and that you vouch for in some way. And my suggestion would be to think in terms of selling 10 or so of these pages, and you can let people know. My suggestion is to put a specific number on it, which creates some scarcity. It makes people take action. So you tell them we're only going to have 10 sponsors within the book, and those 10 sponsors will receive an entire page of which we'll want you, potential Mr. or Mrs. Sponsor, to write some copy, explain about the benefits of your product or service, and then give people your website or a link or something back to you so that they can get some more information. So you want to create a set number that you're selling, which creates some scarcity because people know, okay, once those are gone, then they're all gone. This is something that you could easily offer for $1,500 to $2,000. And here is one of the magic pieces, or the sizzle, if you will, when it comes to working with bestseller publishing. Just like you wanted to know that your book was going to be successful when we launch it, that it was going to be a bestseller, and in fact was going to be a bestseller internationally, that we have this launch process that we use with paid advertising on over 50 different websites internationally, that we do a massive social media campaign, that we do 3 US press releases, that we have this whole process that goes into launching your book and making your book successful right out of the gate. This is something that you can now sell, right, as your paid sponsors would be interested, not just in you publishing this book and crossing your fingers, I hope it does well, I hope it does well, but instead let them know, I'm going to guarantee for you that this book is going to be a bestseller in more than one country. I'm going to have screenshots. I'm going to prove this to you. And you can even reverse the risk by telling them, and in fact, if we don't do this for you, because my publisher is going to be doing all of this, if we don't do it for you, I will still allow you to be in the book and I'll refund 100% of your money. Now, that's no risk to you because that's my promise to you. My promise to you and our written guarantee, as you know, is that when we do a book launch and we do all of these steps in the process that takes us a significant amount of time, energy, and effort, right, and expertise because we've been doing it for so long, I stand behind what we do and I let you know if it doesn't hit bestseller internationally, then guess what? I stroke you a check and I give you your money back. Now you can turn around and use that guarantee with your potential sponsors and let them know this isn't just going to be a book that we publish and cross our fingers that it does well. This is going to be a bestseller. So you, Mr. or Mrs. potential sponsor, are going to be featured in a best-selling book, guaranteed. You're going to have thousands, if not tens of thousands of sets of eyeballs on your content and potentially driving people back to you. And you can even use it and give it out, because obviously as an author, that does you good. Get other people to give out your books. That's something that I would suggest. And so you'll want to give them 10 copies or 20 copies of your book. If they sponsor it for $1,500 or $2,000, you can print 20 copies at a cost of $60 or $70 to you, so that you can give them that book and they can in turn give that to their clients. Hey, here's where we're featured as the product section of this best-selling author. That gives you some added credibility and exposure, and it gives them something tangible that they can then use with their clients. So this is not complicated. This is a simple process. Where it gets complicated is, number one, you need to figure out who those best partners are. Those complementary partners, you need to figure out who they are so that you can approach them. When you approach them, you're going to approach them in a pretty simple manner. And the simple manner is I'm offering 10 sponsor sections, 10 sponsored pages where a complimentary partner like yourself can have an entire page in the back of my book in the sponsored section or in the partners section. And I'm going to guarantee that you're going to be in my best-selling book, that the book is going to be a best-selling book, or this is completely free. So you risk nothing at all. If anybody advertises, right, if any of your potential partners advertise and they spend money on Facebook ads or Google ads or Instagram ads or YouTube or anything else, and we spend money in all those places, then they're going to be very familiar with this. They're writing you a check for a chance to get in your book as part of a best-selling book that they know is going to be seen by thousands and thousands of people. So very simple. You're going to offer them, you're going to let them know that you're only offering this to 10 people. And you might even, again, just a type of sales tactic, if you will, you want to let them know that you're going to them and maybe one other person that is in a similar business as them, right? And so if you don't take it, then I'm going to them and they're going to be taking it. And so there's this sense of the fear of missing out, right? They know that they're similar competitors with this other company that complements what you do. And if they don't go with you, right, and lock that up, then guess what? Not only are they missing out on their opportunity of being in the book, but they're going to have their competitor featured in your book. So this creates some sense of urgency, knowing that number one, there's only 10 spots, and number two, you're going to them and to a competitor, and if they don't do it, then it's going to be the competitor that does it. Now, this can very easily. We have clients who've done this and done $15,000 to $20,000 before the book was ever completed. As you know, there are other ways to do it. You have a training in our membership area on how Mia Moran used Kickstarter to do over $52,000 before her book was ever completed. So there are other ways to do it. But again, the warning, your book is way more valuable than $20,000, right? My book has already generated well over 7 figures just in the first couple months of the year. So you don't want to cheapen it by putting somebody in the book that you don't feel terrific about as a product partner in some way. So never cheapen it. Your book is going to be way more valuable in the future than that. However, if this is something that's interesting to you and this is something that you want to take action on, then just follow those steps. You need to figure out first, who are the people that I want to go to that are complementary to my business? Second, you want to have 2 per category, and you want to come up with a simple script that basically says, hey, I'm giving X number of people this opportunity to be in my book. My book is going to be a best-selling book guaranteed, or I'm going to give you your money back, and this book is going to be seen by tens of thousands of people potentially that will be not just interested in me and what I do, but they'll be interested in who I believe in as a complementary business or partnership. Okay? This is a way that many of our clients have done good revenue before their book is ever completed, and it's a way that absolutely you can do the exact same thing and, in fact, potentially pay for your book before your book is ever done. So there you go. I hope that's helpful to you. And let's go ahead and see what questions. I have a couple of things for you also, but I want to answer any questions that you might have as well. Okay, let's see what questions you have. I tried to make this as simple as possible. So Wendy says, I'm a little bit confused what sort of content they would put in our book. So every type of book is different, right, Wendy? So if I were going to do this with my book, okay, let's say that I wanted to, and I didn't, but let's just use it as an example. Let's say that I wanted to put a company in here that does press releases, right? We use a company called PR Web, and we don't compete with them. We use their services. They're complementary to us. And let's say that I wanted to let them know, hey, guys, I want to give you sponsorship opportunity in my book for $2,000. And so here's the deal. You get one full page, and on that page, you can either write a couple of paragraphs and have some type of special offer that leads people back to you, or you could just have your logo and, you know, a couple of blurbs about why PR Web is the best press release company to work with, right? You want to make it as simple for them, Wendy, as possible. They don't need to write, they're not writing anything to enhance my content. They're not like writing something about my book. They're just writing something about themselves and about their services, right? And so I would have maybe a page at the front of that section that would say something like, these are my product partners. And so the next 10 companies are companies that I use and that I recommend that you use. Company number one, PR Web, I use them and recommend you use them for press releases if you're interested in doing them. Okay, does that make sense? Really simple like that. Again, these are complementary companies that I use that I'm not in competition with. Let's see here, Smiley, which I think is Angel. Hi, Rob, do you have a script, please, about this? Please to send it to him. So I gave you the script. It's really not any more complicated, and I would try to have a telephone call. I wouldn't just like blind email people. I would want to have a conversation about this with people because you're selling something for a couple $1,000s. That's going to take a phone conversation to explain it, Angel. So you just want to get on the telephone with them and you want to let them know what the opportunity is and create some scarcity to let them know that the opportunity is going away and that if they don't take advantage of it, then guess what? Their competitor is going to. Deborah, how are you? Deborah says, hi, Rob. As a mastermind client, do I have access to any one-on-one coaching on Facebook advertising? I've seen the recording training that you have available online, but I understand that's changed a lot. Yeah, it's changed a ton. We don't do any coaching on Facebook advertising, Deborah. We do some of our Facebook ads in-house, and we actually pay an agency also to help us with our ads. So we do both. So me and Steve work on some of it right here, and I pay an outside agency. I'm happy to connect you with that outside agency. They're doing an incredible job for us. All of the traffic that we're running is to my book funnel. So I'm more than happy to connect you with them. I do have a special arrangement worked out to where any clients that I refer get kind of a better deal with this agency than if they were to just find them on their own. So if you want me to introduce you to Mike Bontempo is the guy's name. He's very, very well known in the industry, runs a really successful agency business. So if you want me to connect you, I'm happy to. Gary says, my book is nearly complete and I know you have a service that edits and does all the publishing work for you. Can you describe this service and provide an estimate on cost? So Gary, it depends. My assumption is that you're in BSPU, that you're not a done-for-you client based on your question. And so, you know, I'm happy to talk through that with you. It's a little difficult to answer because it's dependent upon what you need. We have packages that range basically from $3,000 all the way up to $25,000 if you've already written your book. If you haven't written your book, we have packages that go up to $55,000. Now, you don't need that because you've already written your book. But our packages include media, PR, guaranteed television, etc. I don't know if you need all of that. So it ranges from a low of $3,000 in your case up to $25,000. And what I would say is the next step would be to jump on a call with Austin or Dave and just kind of talk through what it is that you need. They'll tell you what the pricing is, you know, what all we can do for you, what guarantees are in place, etc. So more than happy to help and answer all that. And if we can do it, we would love to. So do me a favor, if you want, send me a private message, Gary, with your number, and I'll have Dave or Austin reach out to you. Wendy says, thanks, I understand better now. Awesome. Angel says, how can I contact big names who have been a part of my journey, like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, etc.? And can you charge them more than $2,000 and give them more books? Well, I mean, I'm certain you can charge them more than $2,000 and give them more books, but you know, getting in touch with them is going to be very, very difficult. How can you? You know, I don't know how to tell you. I mean, you know, Gary Vee often responds to people on his social media like Twitter. I would follow them on all their social media. I'd follow them on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I'd message them. I'd say hello, et cetera, et cetera. But, I mean, these are guys that have millions and millions of followers. It's going to be really hard to cold contact them and sell them something. Let's just be honest. You're better off selling to people that you already have relationships with that are complementary to you in your business. You don't have to sell something to Tony Robbins. If you've worked with a coach before, a life coach or somebody that coaches you, that could be somebody rather than Tony Robbins that you could have and sell advertising space in your book. So I think it doesn't hurt to try and follow all of them, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. I mean, it's really, really difficult to make contact with people like that. I've met both Tony and Gary personally, hugged them, took pictures with them. They don't know me from Adam. You know what I mean? They don't know me at all. So let's see. Wendy says, yes, please, to the Facebook agency intro. Happy to give you that, Wendy. Do me a favor and private message me on Facebook. Give me your info, and I'll connect you and Mike in a private message on Facebook. Paul says, I would focus on selling to people who are becoming the next Gary Vee or Tony Robbins. Exactly. I wouldn't focus on the big names because they're impossible to get to. Paul says, I did this for free in my book by writing about all the best influencers you've never heard of as examples. I love that. Now, I wanted to share with you an opportunity to make money with your book. But what you did, Paul, is really, really smart. Now, no one wrote you a check, right, to be featured in your book. But if you want to connect with influencers, right, maybe not on the Tony Robbins or Gary Vee level, but on a level or two down from there, that could be great potential partners for you, then guess what? If you put them in your book and then let them know, send them a copy of your book and let them know that, hey, I featured you, I talked about your impact in my life, etc., and send them, then guess what? They might give you a shout out for your book. They might give you a testimonial. They might take a picture with your book, right? So all of those things are really, really, really powerful. I gave you the example of actually being paid, but partnerships, right? Or having shout outs from people and them take pictures with your book, man, that's as good as dollar bills for big time influencers. In fact, podcasters, and if I'm not mistaken, Paul, you do this too, podcasters will many times start a podcast just so they can interview the people that they want to get to know and potentially partner with. And the interview is like their cheese, right? Their bait to attract the mouse. And that interview gives them some credibility, authority. It lets them into your specific network and social media, but it also gives you a relationship with them to potentially do things in the future. So 100%, there's lots of ways to use it. Eddie says, how's the Porsche? You have to ask my wife. I think she loves it. That was a really cool surprise. It was really, I've surprised my wife. We've, in 2 weeks, we'll be married 30 years, which, holy cow. Evidently, I'm really old because nobody young is married 30 years. I didn't think I was old, but I guess I am now. And I've surprised her like 2 times ever because I'm terrible at keeping a secret. And I bought this car for her a few weeks ago and had it delivered. And so she got it yesterday, which was really, really cool. So that was a cool moment. Total shock for her. Gar says, asking for testimonials could be a first step, especially those you already plan to quote or reference in your book, 100%. So if you quote somebody or reference them in your book, sending them a copy of the book, letting them know, hey, I talked about you in my book. I directed people back to you. You've really helped me. That's really made a difference. I mean, that impacts people, and it's leading with the giving hand. You're not asking for money. But let me tell you, if they take a picture with your book, right, or they give you a testimonial of some kind, that's like gold. I mean, that's like real dollars because that will drive a lot of traffic back to you. Paul says, exactly how I do it, right? And I guess you're referencing what you do with your podcast, which is super smart. Angel, I'm confused about it. Could you explain to me how I would best do it on a call, please? I don't know what you're asking. Can you be a little bit more specific, Angel, about that? And I can answer it for you. But as I said, if we're talking about selling pages in the book, if that's what you're asking about, then it's you going to a complimentary. I gave you an example of PR Web with us. We use their services. They're not competitors to me. It's a complimentary service. I would go to them and say, hey, look, my book is going to be a perennial bestseller. It's going to be an international bestseller, guaranteed. And I want to give you a shout out in the book. I want to give you a full page and sell you some advertising space for $1,500. And I'm going to go to PR Web and I'm going to go to WebWire. And so if you don't do it, then WebWire is going to do it. But I would rather you do it because I use your services, right? And then this is going to drive a bunch of traffic back to you. It's just that simple, Angel. You just tell them what the opportunity is and why they should take action. You give them a guarantee and let them know that your book is guaranteed to be a bestseller. That's as long as either we're doing it for you and offer the same guarantee, or you follow our process completely yourself, and then you can rest assured that it's going to work. Deborah says, I'm old too. You've only got Carla and me beat by 2 years. Awesome. Love it. Julie says, how do you feel about gathering big name influencer testimonies before we soft launch? Would you delay the publishing or go ahead and add more in later? I already have a dozen really nice testimonials. I have the potential of gathering more if you think it's valuable and worth the delay. What's your recommendation? So great question. I don't like to delay. So if you have really good ones now, I would go with it, but I'm impatient. I want the book making money for me now, as soon as possible. So you can always add more in later and direct people back. Obviously, it's going to cost you a little bit more to get the book reformatted and all that stuff, but you can always add more in later. We did a book. I'm looking to see if it's on my desk. I don't know if it is or not, but we did a book for a client that because of their book, they were asked to speak at the United Nations, the General Assembly. And I actually went and we did a big video and all that. I've shared about it before, but prior to that, they used the book to meet the president of Mozambique. And the president of Mozambique loved the book and loved their charity so much that he offered to write a foreword for the book. And obviously that was after the book had already been published. So we went back and, for a small fee, reformatted it, put a new foreword in it because it's the president of Mozambique, right? So you can continue adding to it, Julie. I would, my preference is launch, right? My preference is let's go. Move it. Dr. Tusa, aside from paying partners, how can we get a big name to give a testimonial for the back cover of the book? So great question. So there's like 3 ways and only 3 ways that I know of. Number one way is the way that we just shared it and that Paul talked about it. You're not asking for money, but instead you're letting them know that they were a big impact on your life. And because of that, you've talked about them in your book. And it would mean a lot to you to get, a little blurb or even a foreword or something written up. That's the number one way. The number 2 way is if they're already your friend, right? Or if they already know who you are. So either number 1, you build a relationship with them by pointing them back to that you've talked about them in your book. Number 2, you already have a relationship with them and you simply foster that relationship. And number 3 is you pay. There are influencers that you can write a check to get them to write a foreword for your book. And, some people don't like that, but, I have a number of influencers and even like Hollywood celebrity types that will write a foreword or will write a blurb or something for a check. And so those are the 3 ways of doing it. Either you reach out to them and build a relationship, or already have a relationship, or you write them a check. Kevin Harrington wrote the preface to my book. Russell Brunson wrote the foreword to my book and also gave me a great video testimonial. Let me tell you, his video testimonial and his foreword, it has been worth a fortune to me already because of the number of people that have come to me because of his video testimonial and because of the foreword that he wrote in the book. So really, really worthwhile to do it. Julie says, what kind of small fee to change the formatting? Usually it's like $500, something in that range to reformat. What a lot of people don't know is if you change 3 sentences in the book, guess what? It changes the whole rest of the book. So you have to, the whole thing has to be reformatted to make sure that everything's not out of place. So for a few $100, you can get all that done. Paul says, I got Vince Del Monte to endorse my book by sending him 3 to 5 samples of the book and a pre-written paragraph endorsement he could simply say okay to. Love that. Way to go, Paul. Congratulations. That's a great way to do it, and you can absolutely do it that way. Julie says, Dr. Tusa, I have a popular radio show and work with many global leaders on other projects. I have built a relationship with many evolutionary leaders. Oops, I wanted that private. Oh, sorry, and I just read it out loud. Sorry, Julie. Julie, since I just read that out loud, may I ask this? Can I connect you with our PR team? Because we have a number of really high-profile clients, that we do PR and media for, and it might be a really good fit for you and a good fit for them to jump on your radio show. So could we maybe make that connection and have the PR team and you work together on that a little bit? Absolutely, that'd be great. Thank you. And Dr. Tusa LOL'd. So there you go. Sorry, I read that out loud. I didn't read that until the end. Great. So, man, good questions. Thank you for these questions. Hopefully, my answers have been really helpful. Angel says, can you ask them now that you are writing about them, how they have impacted your life, and ask for what is it again? I don't know that I totally understand the question. If you're currently writing your book and you're writing about them, then I would reference that. Obviously, if your book were already done and you could send them a copy like Paul said he did, like use Paul as an example. He sent Vince Del Monte 3 to 5 copies of the book, and he also sent him like a pre-written endorsement. And it was easy for Vince to say, okay, great. So you want to make it as easy as possible for an influencer to say yes to you. That's the simple way to do it. If your book isn't done yet and what you're writing about them is not complete, then it's not really kosher to ask them for an endorsement, because you're not even going to have something to send them. You're not even going to have like the book to send it to them so they can read what wonderful things you've said about them. So I'd probably wait until the book were completed and you can actually send them something. So great stuff. Let's see what else. So Elle says, can you connect me with the PR team as well, please? Got a couple questions for them. Elle, absolutely. Do me a favor though. I don't see people's full contact information on here. So do me a favor, reach out to me via private message or go in the bestseller mastermind area and just, write a little post or something that you want this, that please connect me with the PR team or whatever. So Julie, if you could just PM me, the same L with you, that would be awesome. That way I know what to do and who to connect, and I can just do that. Also, if anybody wants a connection to the Facebook agency that you use, PM me or mention it in the bestseller mastermind page, and then I'll handle everything for you. Garth says, would it be good timing to request high profile endorsements when the ebook is out, since if they accept, their endorsement could go on the back cover? Totally fine to do that. It's always great to have something physical in hand. And so I know it's an extra hassle to change the back cover and there's extra cost involved in all of that. But it's also similar. I'm going to copy your stuff there, Julie. Thank you. By the way, if anybody just wants me to connect you and you want to put your information right in the chat area right now, then do that, and I'll connect you. Otherwise, PM me. Anyway, Gar, so yes, you can do that, but again, there's something special about getting the physical copy into somebody's hands. If you even know how to do that, meaning like if you know how to reach an influencer and have their mailing address and all of that stuff. So, but yes, you can absolutely do it the way that you're asking about. I just like to have something physical in people's hands. Yep, supplements and nutrition companies would work great. Anything that's complementary to you and to your business, Angel, would be like totally fine. No problem with that. Dr. Tusa says, please connect me. Who do you want to be connected with, Dr. Tusa? Let me know that. Are you talking about the PR thing, or are you talking about the Facebook ads stuff? Let me know which it is. And you know what? I need to write some notes here. So I'm going to go to the other page really quick and make sure that I can write a quick note. So bear with me a second. All right. And L, who did you want to reach out to? Was it PR media? Oh, L, okay, so this is for Daniel, right? I think we're doing PR and media for Daniel, if I'm not mistaken, but that's after his book launch happens. So we're doing PR and media for him after his book launch happens. Yes. Yeah, so no reason. And Dr. Tusa, you want Mike and the PR team. Are we doing media and PR for you, Dr. Tusa? I don't remember. I can go back and look up the agreement, but are we doing PR and media for you? Yes. Awesome. Okay. Now, one thing to say, the PR and media always happens after the book launch is done. So if your book launch hasn't been completed yet, then the PR and media team isn't going to reach out to you until after the book launch is completed. We always wait for after because we need the credibility of your book being out and you being a bestseller. The reason that I wanted Julie's info was because Julie was asking about having somebody on her show. And so if you have a podcast or a show and you want to have great guests, well, I have the greatest guests in the world, right? I got best-selling authors. So I'd love to connect you and your podcast with my PR team so my PR team can work hand in hand with you to book people for your shows. That's what I was asking. If you want PR and media and you've already signed up with us for Done For You PR and media, great. But I'm not going to connect you with the PR and media team until after your book launch. That happens after. And that's all done in an automated fashion. So don't worry about it. It will all be handled. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, I see. Thanks, Rob. Beautiful. Okay, great. So I want to ask a favor now. I do this every week, and you guys, not every week, but a lot of weeks. And I have posted in, I'm going to share my screen really quick. I posted in the BSP site here, the bestseller publishing page, and you can see books to review for the week. So this is Stan Miller's and Paul Edwards' book, and I'd love for you to download and review these books this week. They're during the soft launch. Both Paul and Stan are really active in the community. They download your books and they review your books. And you guys, let me just say, you guys have been amazing, amazing. I mean, look, I asked the other week for book reviews, and look, just bought it, downloaded it, reviewed it, bought, will review, bought. Look at this. I mean, just downloaded, submitted my review, submitted. You guys are fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you for what you're doing. So for this week, these are the two books. Please download them for 99 cents and offer a review. And remember, I'm going to promote you in the same way. Just make sure you comment below here that, hey, Rob, I downloaded it and I'm going to offer a review. Just read a couple of chapters and then offer a review. And I'm going to do the same thing for you when it comes time for your book to be launched. And I'm doing this really specifically within the community, right? Many of you have communities of your own and you're getting great reviews, and that's terrific. If you just want to do it that way, that's great. But I want to help you as well to get great reviews, especially in this community that we've built. So the people I'm doing it for are people that are working together and symbiotic relationship, right? Stan and Paul are downloading and reviewing your books, and now I'm asking you to download and review Stan and Paul's books. So you'll see that in the Bestsellers Mastermind page. Please go there, check that out, and download and review their books would be just absolutely terrific. So you guys are great. Please take care of that now, and private message me, anybody, if you need those connections. Otherwise, I'll see you and talk to you next week. Take care.